Treva,
Lynn,
Rhea,
and Champagne.
And today we're going to discuss Room by Emma Donoghue. Okay, but before we get started, let's talk about what we're drinking.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so today we are going to be drinking and rating with In Vivo Wine.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
It's JP in the house. It's JP.
It's a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand.
Ooh.
Yes. Bucket list trip.
That's nice. We should do that.
We should.
So what's the name of it? Is it X or?
In Vivo?
Yes.
In Vivo X.
Oh, it's In Vivo X? Okay. In Vivo X.
If we are not pronouncing this correct, please correct us, Sarah Jessica Parker. Thank you.
It's really cute because it's like, it's almost like it's a fingernail polish like on the front of it.
And the period, I kind of like
it's like boom.
The final touch.
In the story.
Yeah.
I feel like it's got its little Sex in the City flavor a little bit, right?
Just a little bit, yeah.
With the fingernail polish diva.
It's really tasty.
Okay, sorry. All right, so back to the book. The book is Room. And so the director is... Who's the director, Lynn?
Lenny Abrahamson.
And then the screenplay...
Ed Guinea.
Ed Guinea. Okay. All right, y'all, let's jump in. I love it. I love the room. I love it. I love the room. Well, not the room. Room. I have to keep convincing myself to stop saying the. It's just room. It's just room. So I had watched, this was one where I watched the movie first. Because I watched it months ago and then went back and read the book. And I loved the movie when I first watched it. I'm in tears, I'm crying, and I'm just feeling so bad. Then I read the book and I'm even more tears because the book had so much of the boy narrating, the little boy narrating, that his thoughts had me cracking up and crying at the same time.
Oh my God, yes.
I like how the book went into so much more detail. It also went into a lot more detail on how the mom and how Ma and Jack interacted. I know this, of course, because raising children, but it really strikes me as how much control a parent has over their children's beliefs and
their imagination.
Creating
but
I don't even know that it's necessarily imagination. It's their beliefs. Like, Ma had this little boy believing everything. Like, everything outside of Room was not real.
But she was piggybacking on a child's imagination already and just making it their reality, since it literally was their reality.
Yeah.
Because she never knew when the outside world was going to be reality. So she purposely made it the room be their reality and outside was not tangible, so it wasn't real.
Yeah.
And to piggyback kind of off that about how much parents have control over not killing this little boy with the yelling and the screaming and the disrespect. Like, I was like, oh my God,
he is 5, Champagne.
I know, but I'm
so
just like, I'm
disrespect.
Right, the screaming and no.
He's 5.
I was gonna say, well, yeah, he's 5.
He doesn't know the difference.
Literally in a 10 by 10 room. I mean, how much energy can you exert?
Outside of that, he got out and was still screaming. I'm gonna need you not to scream when I'm talking.
He was cracking me up with it's time for track. And I ran 16 steps. And I did it, and I was like, oh, he's running track in the room.
She taught him every single thing she knew from childhood until when she was kidnapped.
Yeah.
It was just amazing to me how she was able to incorporate every single thing that she thought a child should go through in their growing, whether it would be their learning, their physical activity, manners, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Even hygiene.
Exactly. And she knew that she wasn't going to be able to give him like vitamin D from sunlight and give him the adequate enough amount of like foods to give him all the vitamins that he needed. So she made it really clear that he needed those vitamins. Like, where are the vitamins when Saint Nick forgot to bring them?
Old Nick.
Yeah.
Saint
Not
Nick.
Santa.
What's funny is the whole reading the book, the whole like watching the movie, I kept saying Saint Nick in my head.
Your head? Because of the Sunday treats?
Yes. And I was just like, he's bringing him presents like Saint Nick. Until just now in this conversation did I realize it was Old Nick. So,
Me, Old Nick.
well, Santa Claus wasn't real, so so neither was Old Nick, and it became Saint Nick.
That's
Anyways, that guy.
Yeah, that evil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man.
I was gonna say, I like how she made him real but not real. As in, she didn't know his name, of course, because he was kidnapped, or he kidnapped her. But to explain to Jack who he was as Old Nick, she had to give him a name. She can't just say, you can't know him, you can't see him, because of course he's there. So for her to be able to put a divide between them, but also keep him informed enough that a child is not going to ask any questions, was pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his Jack's insight to, I don't know, just how he viewed everything, that he had me cracking up when Nick was like, what's he for? He's in the wardrobe talking about 5. I mean, he could not resist correcting him
at all.
And then when he saw that mouse and he wanted to keep it, and she was like,
she threw something at him.
Yeah, she was like, he's gonna eat our food. He's gonna eat your face off.
I was like, oh, he just wanted a friend.
He's my friend.
He can have my food. We're not hungry anyway.
Such a little kid.
Yes, it was so I love the way he described things. It was so funny.
Yes.
And the use of the wardrobe, for her to be able to hide him all those years, and the little tricks to count so that he doesn't
his teeth,
so he doesn't hear what is going on. It just was amazing.
Well, he counted the bed squeaks too.
Yes, he did.
Because he would stop at 225, count by 5s.
Yeah. I mean, it's
one for a 5-year-old to be able to count by 5s is impressive, but not bed
God, he was smart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so smart. Like, she made sure he knew everything. I mean, down to the, I'm limiting your TV time because I don't want to fry your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
That was just incredible.
Exactly.
And the same, even like when they went to make the birthday cake and he was opening the egg, just like from that point, it was still the same things that you would do at home involving a child in the daily activities.
Yes.
To make sure they feel like, for one, they're involved, but for two, they're learning.
Yeah.
Like those small aspects, she made sure that she did. I was just impressed by the way that her mind had to go from being captive to being a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He saved her, like she said. He saved her.
Yes. For 7 years? Like, ooh.
Now, it was interesting because in the book they talked about the fact that she had another baby and it died, but they did not carry that over into the movie.
Right.
Yeah. I was kind of upset by that.
I was
Because when the interview lady had made a comment about being a mother, I was really expecting for her to be like, well, this isn't my first child. And that was a perfect time to bring that up and ease that in to make sure that like you really knew her pain.
You know what I also found interesting? Do you remember when he was carrying him out? When he was playing dead, he was carrying him out in the
When Old
rug.
Nick
Old
was
Nick was
carrying
carrying
Jack.
out Jack, and then he paused at the tree. If you have a chance to go back, you look at it. They walk out, then he stops and he pauses at the tree and looks down, and then thinks more better of it and keeps walking out. For somebody who read the book, that's exactly what happened. He paused because he thought about maybe going ahead and burying him there, but she had reeled into him. Don't bury him in the yard.
Don't look at
the baby
him.
because I felt the baby. I knew the baby. So it's like he paused, and I don't know that the significance of that meant anything to anybody that didn't necessarily read the book, and then he kept going and took him all the way out.
It's so funny that you say that because one of the things that I noticed was when he paused, I was thinking that maybe in the movie they actually had included something about the baby, but it didn't make it to the final cut. But that was something that was in there to pause to recognize that he actually had buried the baby there, because he said in the book they said he buried the baby in the yard,
Right by the tree. That's why she was like, I could hear the baby, I could feel the baby all the time. She sensed that the baby was buried out there.
And he looked back, but not at the shed. He looked like it was in the corner of like the yard, as if like that was the place the baby was buried.
Right.
I wish they would have kept that piece in.
Yeah.
And then I think in the book also, when she was found, they actually dug the baby up and buried it somewhere.
They did.
Gave it a proper burial.
Yep, she said that. What was her real name?
Jane or
Joy.
Joy.
It was Joy.
Joy? Okay, because only thing in my head is Mom. I couldn't think of her real name. So
Yeah, she has 2 names.
oh yes,
Her
2
Jack.
names.
Yeah, she has 2 names.
I like the way that they were able to show how you sort of went through the book thinking that Jack was going to have the transition problems and it was going to be so hard for him,
Yes.
and it ended up being Ma or his mom having the problems and that needed to heal from it, because he actually was able to transition
He thrived.
well. And then it was Jack that wanted to go by and bring some closure to the house. She didn't want to go, but then in the end I got the sense that
It healed her.
she realized that she needed to have closure to that room. So I don't know. He just saved her throughout the
Again.
book.
Yeah.
Like 3 different, 4 different times. He saved her, by being born. Then he saved her from
escaping.
Then he saved her when she
Well, he found her when she
vomited.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then he saved her again,
With his strong from his hair.
Yeah, and then one more time having her do the closure at the house. This book was like so outstanding for me. It was so many different points in this book that really hit home for me, especially as a parent, but also just in life in general. Like, you really forget about the little things and you take advantage of them and realize really everything that you necessarily have, you don't actually need. Like, we're okay without some of these other things.
Right.
Like when the grandma was like, wasn't the place where you lived or room so small? And he was like, no, it went on and on forever. Like, and no. Which it was funny because then in the end when he goes back, he's like,
this is not the room.
So scrunch.
He was
He's like, maybe because it's the door open. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to say yes when she was like,
Me
would you
too.
close it? I was going to say, nah, champ, I'm sorry. I can't close this door again.
Exactly.
But when he said no, I was like, all right, good. Okay, I get it.
I also am mad that they left out of the movie when the grandma went and asked for some of the items that they had taken into evidence.
Yes.
And they were given back to him. And so he was able to still have
Like
some of those
rugs,
treasures, like rug, I think spoon. It was like a couple of things that he was allowed to bring home.
Right.
Because I think,
Which helped him, I think, because he put the rug on his bed when he went to sleep. So, yeah, they did leave that out.
And then eventually tossed it, but...
One of the main points to me that I kind of took away was, well, from the book and the movie, was that her living nightmare was his whole world. And he literally lived in this world that she helped to create, but at the same time, she was literally living in hell every day. And the fact that she was strong enough to make her hell his basically heaven was, to me, just
incredible.
I had like a knot in my stomach just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Just that it's a whole perception aspect. Yeah, he was blinded to a lot of different things because he wasn't exposed to it. But at the same time, she had answers for everything.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, oh, no, you don't even know about that. She took it upon herself to make him understand or make him see it from the most positive aspect that he could.
Yeah.
So that right there just mentally just shook me because it was literally 7 years being captive, raped, beaten, whatever by this man, and this child was completely blinded to all of it because she took it upon herself to make his world pristine.
Mm-hmm. And she was so young and brilliant at what you just described. So it was pretty amazing. And so at the end, do you remember when he made the comment? Mom said, because we don't know what we like, we're just going to try everything.
Yes.
And see what we like, which was brilliant because she knew that he was going to be resistant to everything because he was scared.
Mm-hmm. But also, she was still, 7 years. If you think about just living in a same area that you grew up in, how much, changes has happened for us, let alone her and now him. Those changes needed to be experienced again.
Yeah.
Not just through the two of them, but also through her family. Because when she left, when she was taken, she was 17, a teenager.
Yeah.
Running track.
So young.
Still very young mindset. And then 7 years later, she's an adult with a child. Well, children too, actually. And a mother. And a full-grown adult who has gone through things that are unimaginable. So just to know that they all have to learn a new person.
Yeah.
How about her father who didn't even want to deal with it?
I'm such a William H. Macy fan. I love him.
Too.
Especially
So
in
do I.
Shameless.
Yeah.
But I was so angry at his character in the movie.
Yeah.
But I also like that they showed both aspects of it. From the mother's side, where she just embraced it. Yeah, it hurt, but she also embraced it. But then the dad was like, I just can't deal with this child is a child from my daughter's captor and rapist. That shows that there's literally two sides to grief.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not even just two. There's many sides of grief, but that showed two separate sides from two loving parents of grief.
And how about, her anger, in her feeling that everybody just kind of moved on. You remember she was going through her friends.
The yearbook.
And in the book, she actually met up with her friends, but that didn't happen in the movie. But, she actually met up with her friends and talked to them. She was so angry that everybody just kept going on with their lives. So I was really glad that they kind of kept that in to the storyline.
And another thing you were saying about the transition, you thought it would have been harder for Jack versus her. When she tried to commit suicide, I think that was her way, because the reporter that she went to beforehand was saying, oh, why you never tried to kill yourself? It was kind of
angry with that reporter.
right. So you kind of, she almost kind of like she put that in her head, like, wow, this would be an easy way out. And do you think your child would be better off? And
why didn't you just tell him to drop him off somewhere?
Right, exactly. So when she attempted to kill herself, I'm thinking that she thought Jack would be better off and could transition more because they were too, dependent on each other. So I kind of
said, "Don't try to go to heaven without me." I was like,
it was so sweet.
that book was an emotional roller coaster.
It was.
Oh yeah, I had just a knot in my throat the whole time I was reading it and watching the movie. I just could not fathom the depth of everything.
Right.
And how about the Officer Parker? That just really hit me because you think about things that go on in your everyday life. Like, this is their job. Their protocol is you have a lost kid, you get them. You call CPS, right? You get them to CPS. Mm-hmm. But she took the time to wait a minute. Let me figure this out. Let's not move from this spot until he figures out where he came from. And you just think about if she wasn't as persistent and is maybe rushed like the other officer, they would never have found her.
Now, the book didn't show the other officer being obnoxious.
A little.
Yeah, he did, but not as bad.
But in the movie, I wanted to punch him in his throat.
Yes.
We just need to give it to CBS. I would have called
stiff-armed him. She was like, give me a knuckle sandwich, and now we're going to do my job.
Right. Yeah, he was so annoying, and I was like, would you just shut
making
up and
stupid comments? Like, maybe he's from a cult. I mean, look at him. Excuse you.
But it's typical, how people's bias come into play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't have his hair cut, so it's a cult. You know what I mean?
He's on something?
Yeah.
Let me say, you think he's on
he's
something?
a 5-year-old.
Right.
What is he on?
That is insane.
It just really hits home.
Yeah.
Although, he was sucking his mama's rotten tooth.
That's what I want to talk about. So, because they didn't really go into that as much in the movie as it was described in the book.
Like, the flavor of it, I was like,
exactly.
That joker was sleeping with the tooth in his mouth.
Mom, what do you do if you swallow something you didn't mean to swallow?
Like, come on, poo. Yeah, I was like,
it's a child thing to do, to ask that question. But then when you realize it's a rotten tooth, you're like,
I can almost understand if it's a regular tooth, but a rotten one, that's...
But it's not even like they showed her like boiling it or cleaning it. Not that it would make it any better, but still, she literally took it out of her mouth and handed it to him.
And he's like, ooh, cool.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But she was also so determined to, figure out a way for them to get out. She didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until later on, when he was laying on the rug, she had mentioned, like, where's the tooth? And he said that I'm keeping it safe in my mouth. And she knew that it had, like, the DNA on there. So that would help out. But I just love how, when she first gave him the tooth, it was like, all right, let's just make this like a learning experience. And then her mind switched to being survival mode.
Yep.
And that tooth came into handy later on. So it was like she saw the fruit of her actions, basically.
Yeah.
It was like I was helping him learn initially, and then it became a savior moment.
Can we talk about Leo? Because Leo, the stepdad, loved him.
Oh, yeah, I love his character.
Amazing.
It's like in the movie, Jack is someone that wants to meet you.
Yes.
Like, oh.
Yes, I like, because he could try not to smile. Like, he was so excited.
Yeah.
I like the part
Leo.
when he was... When Jack wasn't talking, he was sitting on the top of the stairs. He was like, what if somebody would be willing to play with me and maybe have something, good to eat or whatever. And like, I didn't see him. It was so cute. He was amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the cast. Jack Tremblay
was amazing.
Amazing. It's a great little... Oh, my God.
He was such a great little actor to me.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I literally made a note of that Jack's character was amazing.
I want to see him in more things.
Yes.
I want to see him in more things. He was really good.
Yeah.
And even the times where he was just kind of like laying on the floor and being, just to see him perceiving the world and thinking about it in his face was amazing. Because I don't really know kids of this day that can like just sit and be. So I was very impressed by that.
I also felt like the room with her babysitter. She could go to sleep and not be
when she's
there.
having those gone days.
The gone days. And he would just sit and play
by himself.
But when he started playing with like his toys and it was so annoying, I was like, wow, he is nailing that kid role.
Yeah.
He's just like, I was like, oh my God, I'd scream if I was her.
And I get that she was having those gone days, but to see him embracing like, oh, I know when she has her gone day, let me just go over here and entertain myself. I was like, get your ass up. But But you make me understand because, I mean, like, you literally work captive for 7 years.
Right.
You can't be perfect every day.
Right.
But I still was a little frustrated by that. I'm not gonna lie.
That whole Gone Days scene hit home for me.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I can really relate.
In a not normal, but an everyday outside of a room life, you would have others or babysitters or even like something besides a toy truck and a TV that could possibly help you get that escape. And she had no escape. So I get it. I was just like, I felt bad for Jack.
Well, I just think the whole cast, I loved everybody for each role. I mean, Joan Allen, the mom, I loved her. The grandma.
Yeah, I'm such a fan of hers.
Yeah, she did a good job. She wanted to cut that hair so bad.
Yes, she did.
She was really good.
She played that role. She really did. And then Ma.
I've seen her in something else. I just can't remember. I
She was
remember
in Star Wars.
I remember her name. Never seen that.
Oh, really? She reminds me of another actress, but I can't pinpoint who it is.
I don't know who it is either, but all of them.
I just wondered why. So she did the interview, and she was dang near gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, what happened now?
Right. I mean,
how did your hair go back to room?
Exactly.
Well, because they dolled her up for the camera.
Yeah, but you're
and then she gets deep into that depression.
And you can.
I mean, you go 7 years and you have not combed your hair.
Good point.
It's hard to get back into that. I mean, I can go 2 days and mad the third day when I gotta comb my hair.
Believe me. Sometimes I got the long weave, and sometimes I'm easy right.
Right. I know that's
With
right.
the long hair aspect, it's not to like jump back to the plot of the movie, but it reminded me that I did not understand why he had long hair, and I was just like, well, why wouldn't you cut it? But then I thought about it. She didn't have scissors. Like there was no way to cut it, and then even the knife that she did have was the dull, and then like the tip of it's broken off. So I don't know why, but it took me like all the way through the book and then to the movie to understand why his hair was long, and she had to make it
tools.
Exactly, and she had to make it a point of why he had his long hair, which was his strong. But I did not get it for the longest. I just could not fathom why you just didn't cut his hair, because I feel like with the hygiene issues that come with just having a sink and a tub, why wouldn't you cut his hair? And then finally when I watched the movie, I was just like, duh, Lynn, like, get your stuff together.
Remember, she tried to kill him. She tried to kill him once.
Into the toilet seat.
That was funny.
Right.
All right, so y'all ready to rate this movie book adaptation?
Yep, ma'am.
All right.
I feel like I could probably go on for at least another 2 hours talking about everything that I loved from this movie. So I'm just gonna book to movie. I'm gonna sum it up and say I give it a full glass. It's kind of overflowing a little bit too, but full glass.
Well, your glass is overflowing.
I filled it up like 8 times.
I know, right? It's good.
I feel you on that one because I agree. It's a full glass for me, and we could have talked. There's so many different aspects of the movie that we could just hone in on, but we would be here all day. So full glass for me.
I agree. Full glass for me also. Rhea, please contain yourself. We're getting around. She loves it when we have full glass. Full glass, definitely.
And it's gonna have a full glass from me. I totally agree. And I think we should continue our conversation after this is over.
Yeah, because
Along with this wine.
I know, because we get a full bottle of X by Sarah Jessica Parker.
SJP.
SJP. And they are truly enjoying this champagne. Because Lynn and Ray are getting it in.
We'll catch up after.
Cheers to
We'll
that.
continue the conversation.
Exactly.
you're real deep over here.
Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us.
Follow us at Read Watch Wine on Instagram, Twitter, and
Facebook.
Subscribe. Don't just listen. Please subscribe.
Give us feedback. We love it.
email us readwatchwine@gmail.com.
And if you have any opportunities, if you're a listener and you have any opportunities that you'd like us to come and be guests, please email us. Let us know.
Yes, be guests.
Yes, be yes.
Yes, be guests.
Why?